let's get to shaping this thing into a house.
What you want, what you want.
To start shaping out the siding, I used a surefoam shaver to shave down the foam just underneath each line that we marked out in the last video. Now remember, we only have a 1/2 inch of material here, so I wouldn't go any deeper than 1/4 of an inch.
Hey man, are you finally carving that foam?
Yup.
Dude, it's crazy how fast you are at this. It's like you're superhuman.
Well man, Halloween's right around the corner and I've got to get this done.
Big old jelly belly superhuman carver with a beard? Hey, are you Santa?
No dude, I'm not.
Whoa, look at that, man. That really looks like siding. Man, I'm pretty sure you're Santa. I mean, you got a white beard, you're big and round, you make cool things with your hands.
Dude, I'm not Santa. But you know, thanks for letting me know that I'm old and fat. Got the foam all carved out, so that looks pretty decent. We're looking like siding on the big one over there. We're looking like siding on, this is the small piece on the top over here. So basically, this stuff right there was all a bunch of math.
Don't lie.
And stuff.
It wasn't math, it was magic.
So, what we did, I cut these are 9 inches across here. And then this is the 22.5 degree angle, just like we did the other pieces. By cutting that off at 9 inches and then running a piece of furring strip to the back here, that leaves me like 5.5 overhang. And I think the original ones were just almost 5.5. So this is just, I think it's like 1/4 of an inch or two, you know, about 1/4 of an inch longer, but you're never gonna know. No one's gonna know. No one's gonna look that close. But anyway, we are 9 inches wide. This is 2 foot. Then we've got our 22.5 cut in here. Then this is actually, I first cut these here. I first cut that stuff at like a full 4 foot on the back here, a full 48 inches, and then the 22.5 degrees north, south, east, west degree of an angle for the cut for the 45.
Hey, what the hell?
48 inches was too long. It wasn't working. It was buttoned up back here in the back. So I had to trim them down. Unfortunately, I didn't measure them. I can measure these later and let you know what the actual length is on the back side. I just threw them up and kind of brought them down until they fit properly. But this is the top side of our roof overhang thing deal. So now I've got to come up with the rest of this stuff here. In that area needs to be look like, you know, a roof with a pitch back to it. So we got to work on that, and that's what we're going to do next.
Well, hey there, big boy. What you doing?
Well, I'm making some supports.
Why don't you have your elves give you some support and let them make the supports?
Elves? What? Because I'm not Santa. Look, man, Santa makes Christmas, not Halloween.
Well, hey, let me interrupt this build once again so I can thank the sponsor of this build. It hasn't changed. It's still all those amazing people over there at Patreon. Give these guys that are scrolling right through here a round of applause, because it's because of them and their support, like I've said, that this is even happening. Without that support, this wouldn't be here, and we wouldn't be having these fun videos. First, let me say I'm sorry because I failed to do this earlier, so I'm going to lump all these guys together and just give a big shout out for everybody so far that's joined Patreon in September so far. First up, we got Debbie Belden. Then once again, we have 228 Maple. Then we have Rosany Navas Smith. Hopefully I didn't butcher that too bad. And then Ronelli Jones. I know I butchered that one, but I want to thank all you guys for joining up in September. If you enjoy the content on this channel and you would like to help support to keep this channel moving and going forward, consider going to Patreon and joining up over there and meet these amazing people that are already there. Say hi. They're a great group of people. So sign up today, links in the description. Let's get back to the build. Welcome to the whole house octagon thing that has turned into a total pain in the rear. I mean, this shape has created way more problems than I thought. For me, of course, I'm not a house builder, so
No, you're Santa.
it is what it is. But like where I messed up last year is on the roof sections, especially the top roof. I should have built that to where it came apart into like 5 different pieces to be stored. I didn't do that. That made that a super pain to store. Actually, it's sitting outside. It got attacked by cats. It kind of broke, you know, when I dropped it, taking it apart last year. It got broke some more.
Just fix it with magic.
I don't even know if I'm going to repair the brake or if I'm just going to leave the brake in the top of the roof and stick a skeleton or something on the top of it and say, hey, it's this old, spooky, broke down house. We'll see how much time I've got once this is done. So let me show you what's going on with this here. So essentially we got 5 pieces, a 2-foot and these 4-footers that come all the way around. These are all bolted in through the frame on the bottom side so they can lay down and be bolted on and bolted back off, taken back off. However, I was cheap and I bought this thin stuff. This was even thinner than the original thing. So last night this got rained on and it warped like crazy. So then to fix that, to come in between, these are basically like a 2-inch section, right? So I built these kind of in sections. This stops here where I can screw these things down and get this end point, which is what really warped the worst, kind of screwed up together. So the plan is this piece right here will stay attached to this, and eventually I'm going to make a bolt point right here and maybe just some kind of a countersink recess deal that I can just screw with a bolt into, right? Kind of like a IKEA setup or something. So this piece will stay on here. This spacer piece will stay on this main piece. And then this front piece, same thing. I've got one that overlaps here. And then we got another one that overlaps here. This piece will stay with this. And eventually this will have bolts that can come in and out. So this piece will come off, slide back on top, bolt to this one, and then we're going to redo, basically we're doing the same thing here as the other side. That stays with this last piece, this slides over here, and this is just kind of a spacer piece on this one. That way all these can come off. That way it can be completely torn apart and completely stored and I don't have to worry about it sitting outside or whatever, something like that. I can get it all tucked away. But this has been a real pain in the booty, your booty
hooty woody,
to figure out how to do all this so it comes apart. Once we get past this section right here, be able to move to just trimming the windows and like that, and then we'll get to painting. So a lot closer, a lot of work left to do.
Honestly, man, just let the elves build this part. You don't have to work so hard. Your secret is safe with me.
Oh my gosh. How many times do I have to tell you I am not Santa?
Look there, there's some going-ons in that area over there. This is the framing for the roof area for the shingles, all done, and it all removes. This is 16 inches tall. I ran a 1x across here. Then we drilled through. I had to recess these down, so we've got mounting points for bolts here, mounting point for bolt here in the center, and one in here. That all comes down underneath. I'm gonna have to grind these off, but that all comes underneath bolts here. Also, these plates up here, don't really know if I told you, but I have these bolt through, and those bolt through the actual panel here, so they bolt through to here. And then I've got a couple braces that I've put between all these, just from this one that gives support in between to make it a little more rigid. Yeah, they're screwed in. Maybe I can come up with another way.
or maybe one of you guys can come up with a better way to support these things together. Because last time when I had a little bit of an issue on these 45s, Lupin sent me this right here. And as you can see, this diagram is absolutely awesome and amazing. So he came up with this this idea here to allow me to bolt through on those 45s, to come through on the inside and bolt, so I can bolt those together. So to do how I'm doing with the screws. I already had put the foam insulation on by the time he got that to me, so I didn't really have room to drill through. And I don't know, once this is over, this year's over, I might cut some squares out in those areas and go ahead and drill through so I can do that idea and make that work. We'll see. I wish I would have got a hold of that beforehand, because how awesome is that? I mean, that's, I don't know if Lupin's an engineer or whatever, but that's pretty freaking sweet. It was easy to read. And it was a great concept. It would have been perfect had I not already had this stuff set up. So pretty much there's 5 total pieces to get all the way around this thing, and then each piece breaks down into 2 other pieces. So it breaks down into 10 pieces, right? But everything can get broke apart. It can all get stacked, laid up against the wall, and stored. Nothing has to set outside, which is a great thing.
Hey there,
Don't even say it.
Gandalf the Grey.
You've got to be kidding me.
Oh, what you doing?
If you must know, I'm laying out the pattern for the shingles.
Oh, cool. Is that like your magic wand?
What? Magic? No, dude, it's just a marker. It's just a marker. I am not Gandalf the Grey.
Gandalf the White?
I swear if you don't stop with all this, I'm gonna wring your neck.
Okay, jeez. Now, what are you doing with that thing that's definitely not an electric-powered magic wand?
It's a Dremel tool, and I'm outlining the shingles with it.
And why exactly are you doing that?
So I can take this foam shaper tool here and basically shave down the edges to meet up with the area that I had dremeled out. It creates this nice slope look to the shingles. Now we got all this shaped up into place, and I went back with the Dremel tool and took the guard off, and just by hand went back in and put all these little holes or all these little lines back in, because as we scrape that down, those basically disappeared. So I want to get that separation. Gotta be real careful. I mean, some of these might have gone a little too deep. There's only a 1/2 inch of material, you know, right here to play with, so you don't want to go too far. Some of them I may have gotten too far, but I think it'll be okay. I want to give this some extra texture, so I'm just going to take a what is this? A wire brush, and we're going to drag down over the tops of this. You can really see now that wire brush really adds a bunch of texture, and the more you kind of pull down on the edge, tears these up, really kind of gives this an old weathered look, like these old shingles, like if they're a wood shingle or whatever, but they've been sitting on this house for a long time through years of rain and decay. That really adds a little extra. You know, they're probably not going to see that stuff from the road or even the yard or even the door, because it's going to be up 8 foot or 12 foot in the air. But I know it's there, and you know it's there, and now you know how to do some texturing on foam. There's a million other ways, but this is just one way, so there we go. Now that we got the siding all carved up and we got the roof section all detailed out on this area, we can move on to doing window trim and cutting out the trim for the sides and all that good stuff. So we can get started on that next week.
You making something from nothing.
I got it. You're Krampus.